Hey everyone, and welcome back to Girl We Gotta Talk. Today I'm joined by Zachary Reality. I am so excited to have him on. We have so much to chat about. Bachelor in Paradise premiere was Monday night, and there's a lot to unpack there. We're also going to talk a little bit about Katie's season. I know it's like in the past, everyone doesn't want to talk about it anymore, but I need to get Zachary's thoughts. And then, yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. The Bachelor is one of my favorite subjects to talk about, so I feel like I'm in the right place right now.
Okay, so you have like the best TikTok. That's where I found you. I'm always like, this guy is the first to like all breaking news. He's you're my source. Like if I see anything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got it from Zachary. Like he is on top of it. You're so in the know about all things Bachelor. And I just love your content. I think like you have great opinions and like takes, and you're funny and you're killing it. So can you tell everyone like a little bit more about you and like your TikTok and
Yeah, sure. I mean, thank you so much. I love that. It's so crazy to me when people are like, you are where I get my news.
yeah.
I'm like, thank God I'm doing something right. I kind of started TikTok in the quarantine because I'm an entertainment news host. That's kind of why I moved to LA. And I was just starting to get hosting jobs, fresh out of college, moving to LA. And a lot of the jobs got taken away instantly once the pandemic hit. And I knew I just wanted to talk about TV and reality TV and be a commentator. So if I couldn't get a job and be in a studio, I might as well just create my own studio at home and create my own sort of, channel. So that's kind of how I started my TikTok. And then that kind of went into my podcast and my YouTube, which I'm sure we'll get into. But that is how I started to do TikTok because I truly have a passion for entertainment hosting. And I also love and breathe reality TV. And I have been since I was like 5 or 6 years old. So it was just very natural. If you watch my TikTok, you can see I'm so passionate about what I do. So I think that's why it's been such a good process for me and gaining followers and gaining, recognition and stuff. And everything happened super naturally. I never went from 1,000 to 100,000 followers. Like every week, every day, there's always progress. There's always growth. And I think that's kind of where I got to where I am today, to be the #1 Bachelor TikToker, dare I say.
Oh my gosh, say it. Well, I was just going to say like the commitment you have to like producing content, like it's not like sometimes it's a couple of TikToks a day because there's like, I mean, Bachelor Nation news itself is just like so ongoing. It's so fast paced. Like there's literally a news story about somebody every single day. And you seriously are like the first person to it. So that's like such a commitment. And I don't think people realize like how much time and effort goes into like each one of those. I mean, because TikToks are quick, but like
Yeah.
you're relaying, actual factual information,
Mhm.
information and getting it out very, very quickly. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, you are just like so talented. So you've always been interested in reality TV, which I
Mhm.
love that. When did you start watching and like, what were those shows when you started watching?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the reason I'm able to put out so many TikToks, and it is like I put out 5 to 7 a day
It's a
sometimes,
lot.
especially during the week, because now it's just like part of the job. Well, now I'm getting paid from TikTok, so now it's more of like a incentive to keep going. But I think because I have this history in reality TV, I already know a lot of this information because I remember it. I've been watching. So for me, it's not as hard as it might be for someone else because I truly like actually watch the stuff and I actually know my stuff. So TikToks, it would take about like 5 minutes, I would say, to make one TikTok. You got to find the green screen pictures, get your opinions, and then put it out. And TikTok is just so fun. And I think that's why I'm so successful at it, is because it is so quick. Because the editing, and like I said, 5 minutes of TikTok, you put it up, it's up. It's a lot quicker than a YouTube video or a podcast, as you know. So that's how I'm able to put everything up pretty quickly. And I've been watching since I was reality TV. I've been watching since I was 6. I started watching Survivor. That was my first
Yeah.
love. So the love I have for The Bachelor was originally Survivor. Like I used to die hard for Survivor for like a whole 10 years of my like adolescence growing up and stuff. And I got introduced to Survivor from my grandma because she was babysitting and she wanted to put on Survivor. And I was like, I want to watch SpongeBob. So she fought me for the remote. She won. We're very competitive in my family. And once Survivor hit, I was like, Amazing Race. And then Jersey Shore, America's Next Top Model, Paris Hilton, and it just never stopped. Now I only watch reality TV.
That is so funny. I think you just described my childhood because that's exactly how it happened for me. Like, as you said it, I'm like, that's Survivor was my first like
Mhm.
intro to reality TV as a child. And I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And like the competitiveness and like they're real people, not actors. And I was so like into it. And then, yeah, like that's exactly how that started for me too. And I feel like reality TV for me is like, it is really like pretty much the only thing I watch, like big Bravo fan, Bachelor. I mean, Netflix is now like a lot
Mhm.
of reality TV, so it's
Good.
time consuming, but it is like it is my pride and joy. So I love that you are just as passionate about it.
Yeah. When did you start watching Survivor? I always like to ask people because not everyone
Oh,
watches it anymore.
I know. Gosh, I don't know, probably like the fourth or fifth season. I couldn't even tell, but like very early on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, me too.
Um,
When I started watching at 6, so it was like Pearl Island season 7.
okay.
And I was just so hooked. I used to have a YouTube channel where I would edit together Survivor clips, like top 10, like biggest blind sides, like this and that. And I was doing that like all throughout middle school and high school because I also love to video edit.
Look
And
at
my
you.
channel got to like thousands of subscribers, like millions of views. I ended up getting locked out of the account because I made like a fake email. So now that I'm trying to like be a whole professional back on YouTube and everything, like new content, my content, I'm like, if only I could have used that account and like took all the subscribers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so cool that you were doing that so young. They like put a couple episodes or seasons out on Netflix, and I thought that they were going to be like the first and second, and they're just random seasons, which is fine. But I was like, I really want to go back and watch like the original, like first season of Survivor. So cool. It's been on for a long
20
time.
something years. And it's coming
Yeah.
back in a month. So I'm going to be
Yes.
watching it and talking about it on TikTok. So I can't
Oh,
wait.
perfect. Thank you in advance.
You're welcome.
So you said you were an entertainment news host and you're super passionate about that. So with COVID, did that kind of like halt that? And now you're just more on social media? Or are you still trying to, or still working currently in that? And what's like the
Yeah.
update there?
Yeah, so when I moved here, I wanted to be in the studios. I want to be on red carpets. I'm still doing that or hoping to do that when this pandemic slows down. Currently, I'm hosting at Shared News, which is an entertainment news outlet, and we go live on YouTube. It's all working from home, so that's awesome that I'm able to do what I love from home. But it's also frustrating because I want to be in the studio. I want to be at the parties and the carpets interviewing, and I know I'll get there eventually. But because of COVID, I did have to make that pivot and go onto social media and start to make my own channels because there's no job opportunities right now and people aren't doing things in person. And I really wanted to take matters into my own hands. I've always had that kind of like business entrepreneur mindset. So I knew when I started creating content, which I'm obviously in love with, I knew I had to make it like a business and a brand. And that's kind of how I took Zachary Reality from TikTok into Zachary Reality podcast, where I interview different reality stars, Zachary Reality on YouTube, ZacharyReality.com. Like I've kind of created this whole brand, which is like orange because of the color of my hair.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on it. I guess I started Zachary Reality, the brand, earlier this year, I think in January. And that is kind of where I hope things take off for me. And that's kind of what I'm mainly focused on. But I need to get on the carpets like this award
Yes.
season because that's my number one dream.
Oh my gosh, I need you on the carpet too. You would just be amazing on there. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that that like starts to happen soon because I think like as viewers, we miss that aspect of things too, like shows and red carpets and like interviews and like in-person interviews. I feel like are just so different than obviously over Zoom and stuff. So I think that like we all just need that
It's
too.
time. It's time.
It's time.
It has been convenient. And I also think I learned a lot about like lighting and studio equipment and just kind of like how to figure things out for yourself. So it's been a blessing in disguise. But as the summer is gearing up, I'm like, I need to start doing things in person or I'm going to
Yeah.
freak out. So right now I'm trying to take matters into my own hands and I'm going to try to get a podcast studio that I can rent out like once a week, at least for now, and then start to do in-person interviews. I mean, think about how much fun this would be if we were in person.
I know. I think about it so often. Like I had started this podcast like January before the pandemic hit. And so my plan was to literally do that is rent out a space, you know, have a bunch of guests in person, record it, film it like on a real camera.
Yeah.
And then pandemic hit. And like it is nice in a sense because you're in a different place, a different state right now. And we're talking, which is cool, but it is nice
Yeah.
to be an in-person interview. And
I mean, it's helpful that we have this. I think it's
Yeah.
nice to connect with people like all over. And now companies know that we can operate on Zoom. And it does save traffic time and all that kind of fun stuff. But a lot of the fun stuff you want to do in person. So I like that we have technology, but I want a little bit more of a balance. Like I'm fine working from home, like for the most part, but I would like to be out and about a little bit more. So
Yeah, I need
hopefully things
things to do
work
and like
out.
I need to talk. I need social interaction, I need people
Yeah,
in my
not
life
through
again.
virtually. Where are you? What state are you
I
in?
am in like the DC area.
Cool. Well, I'm in
Yeah.
LA, obviously.
I know you're living life. Okay, so I think we should jump into Bachelor Nation. I want to get your thoughts on Katie's season. So it was kind of a whirlwind of or of a season, I think. Like there was a lot of people that dropped off and didn't even watch the season. And there was just like a lot of controversial things I think that happened. So I want to get your takes first on Blake and Katie ending up together. Did you see it? Do you think they're gonna last? Like, what are your thoughts on the couple?
I like them together. You know, they've been putting up some Instagram stories now that they're allowed to post together, and they're funny. Like they get along, they have a good dynamic. So I'm really happy for them. I think that they will definitely go the distance if they both work towards their relationship. And I think that the viewership just went down for The Bachelor because of the Chris Harrison saga and the Matt James, Rachel Kirkconnell situation. It turned a lot of people away. And I also don't know if Katie was like the most popular contestant during that season. So I think that's kind of why the viewership went down. But I think Katie gave us a really good season. It was really interesting. She did things like on her own terms, on her own pace. I fell in love with her personality because I didn't like her on that season at all. I actually
Oh,
couldn't stand her because I thought she was just so uptight. But then getting to know her on The Bachelorette, I'm like, no, she is so chill, so cool, just like a really fun, down to earth, authentic bachelorette that we've never had before. I mean, she's been so engaging in social media with Bachelor Nation. So I think she did a great job as a lead. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where her and Blake's relationship goes.
I would agree with you on that because Katie definitely, yeah, she was not the favorite on her season, I don't think. And you could kind of tell when they did the women tell all, like none of the
Yeah.
girls were really on her side on things. And I was like, that's so interesting because they painted her as like the hero of the season. I think that she did a great job too. I think Blake and her are actually very similar. I think there's a divide of like Blake's so random, like why are they together? But there's been a lot of stuff out recently, and I think I even saw it on her. Yeah, she's been posting a ton on her stories. She posted a bunch of stuff. People had predicted them right off of Matt's season. Like, Blake Moynes would be so good for Katie. They're the same person. And I'm like, that's so weird that
Bachelor
it's
Nation
happened.
always knows. Like we can predict these couples before they even happen. We knew that
Yeah.
they were going to work out. And I don't know. And I think that's even, we almost set them up as Bachelor Nation because Blake did mention that he slid into Katie's DMs before the show. And that's why he got the confidence or the courage to go back on her season. Because if he wanted to be thirsty and go back on TV, he would have just went to Paradise. Like I think he really went because he thought that him and Katie would be a good match. So as soon as he got there, I kind of figured it was a done deal, especially with all these spoilers everywhere.
Yeah. Do you like having the season spoiled for you? Do you like to like look into those or do you try to stay away? I'm curious.
I mean, I never read spoilers. I've never looked into them in my entire life. I've been watching for over 10 years. But now that I am Zachary Reality, it is truly impossible for me to
Yeah.
avoid spoilers as they're in my comment sections every day. I'm getting DM spoilers. People are asking me about spoilers before the actual show. So now I've just kind of embraced spoilers because I think it's really good as a content creator to talk about them because people are almost more excited when they hear spoiler and they're more likely to click and watch the video till the end and share it than they are for just a regular episode recap. So I
Okay.
fully embrace spoilers, but I don't read them. I only read what is in my comments and what's like in my DMs because I love responding to everyone.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I want to get your take on the Greg and Katie debacle. There was another like divided group amongst that because of how Greg left and how he handled himself on after the final rose, and also how Katie handled herself. So I want to get your thoughts on this. I feel like I was very gung ho about my opinions on it, and I'm kind of seeing both sides, but I definitely want to see what you thought on all of that.
I mean, I think that they both like, I mean, it's a breakup. Like everyone messes up in a breakup. Like no one's perfect. So I think that Greg was initially in the right when he was pouring his heart out to Katie and all she had to say was, I love looking at you. I think that was a problem. And I mean, I like looking at Greg too, but you have to tell him more. So I think that she initially, when she said that, that is when it clicked in Greg's mind that he wasn't the one. And I think that's kind of why he reacted the way he did, because he was so upset that he invested himself into this process, just introduced her to his family. So I think that's when he really turned the cold shoulder. The way he handled everything the next day was just really uncalled for, when he was dismissing her and not listening to her, and then he just left her abruptly. I think that was messed up on Greg. So yeah, I didn't like that. And then on After the Final Rose, I was Team Katie because I felt like she had to air it out. She was so upset that he left her without saying goodbye after their special relationship that they had. It doesn't matter what happened with Blake, like they still had a moment. So I think it was really messed up that he left. So I understand why she was angry. She had to let out those frustrations. She hasn't talked to him in a few months. She's not allowed to talk to him. So it had to play itself out on the show. So I don't think that Katie did anything wrong on the tell-all. I just think that she probably could have handled it better when he was pouring his heart out to her. But I also feel like if she was really in love with Blake, she probably had a really difficult time lying to Greg, and I think that's why she kept saying final two. Like, he doesn't want final two. Like, he wants the one. So yeah. I think Katie was lying because it's a TV show and she has to do her job and keep guys around, even if she doesn't like them.
Yeah, I think Katie was just struggling because like we said earlier, Katie was really doing a lot of things on her own terms. And she wasn't really following like the Bachelorette rule book in a sense of like talking about certain things a certain way. And like, she didn't sound very producery to me. Like, you can kind of tell they all sort of like talk the same when talking about different topics and things. And then it seemed like she was struggling to find the balance of like saying final two and saying like, I wanted to be with you. So she was just trying to be polite and stuff, but it just did not go over well with Greg, obviously. And then, yeah, I agree. I feel like it's all like pent up. Like, she needed to get it out. I think she was like a little aggressive, but like, I would probably be the same way. Like,
she had to let it out so she could move on. It was literally the only way for her to move on. And it just was the pent up aggression was not because she still had feelings for him. It was because they haven't talked in a few months. And I do think that she was able to play by her own rules because Chris Harrison was gone and Caitlin and Tayshia were in charge. Like, the show has become a lot more laid back and fun again. And I think that's what Bachelor Nation wanted. And we're seeing that in Paradise already with David Spade. So I'm kind of happy with all the transitions. It's making it more of a fun show to watch.
Yeah, I totally agree. So there's a lot of talk about who the next Bachelor is going to be. I think Greg is in the running. Andrew S is in the running. I just saw that like possibly Tyler C is in the running just because he just broke up with Camilla, or she broke up with him. There's a lot of tea there. Who do you think they're going to choose? Like, who do you want it to be?
It's so interesting because I don't know. Originally, I thought it was going to be someone from Michelle's season, but now what I've been told is that they have to start filming The Bachelor before Michelle's season even wraps because they're squeezing in Michelle's season. They never do an extra Bachelorette. So we're not even going to see Michelle's season air and fall in love with a potential Bachelor before they already have to film The Bachelor, because The Bachelor airs in January. So it has to be like Andrew S, Michael A. It won't be Greg because of the way everything ended. Greg's hot. He's like a great guy, but like he'll go to Paradise next year. Probably. It won't be Tyler C because Tyler C will not do it. And I think he also is going on Dancing with the Stars in the fall. I would like to see Peter Krause come back, maybe someone who was a few years ago from Rachel Lindsay's season. Yeah. I think he'd be a great choice. I also think Mike Johnson would be a good choice, but Mike has already moved on. He's going to be on that surfer show, so I don't think it will be him. So I've heard from the grapevine it's going to be Andrew S, but I also don't think that they made their final decision yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also thinking it's going to be Andrew S. I also with Tyler C, like, I didn't think he would do it. I feel like he's sort of past the whole Bachelor Nation thing.
Doesn't need it.
Yeah. And is he going to be on Dancing with the Stars? I knew he like kind of teased a dancing show. Is it confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but there was like shots of him dancing.
That's like, what I thought. Okay.
He literally said, he was on the Chicks in the Office podcast, and he literally said, oh, it's something dancing. But then he was also like, it's not what you think it is. Not what
you think, yeah.
You saw that. So I don't know. I think he should go on Dancing with the Stars because he just came out with his new book. So it would be a great way to promote it. But I mean, Tyler Cameron has dated models like his girlfriend Camila, Gigi Hadid. Like, he's not going to go on The Bachelor, but I think it would be amazing if he was The Bachelor. That would be an all-star season.
Oh my God, the viewership on that would just skyrocket. Like, absolutely. Cool. So are you looking forward to Michelle's season? Because I loved her on Matt's season. I'm very excited. There's a lot of I don't know if these are like spoilers, but like we saw her at the baseball game. Are you like looking forward to it? Are you gonna watch? I guess you'll watch, yeah.
I mean, of course I'm watching. It's my literal job. I feel like I don't really care for Michelle too much. Like she seems very sweet and wholesome and great. Like sure, she's amazing, but I felt like she was so boring on Matt James's season. And I feel like her life as a 9 to 5 teacher is just not something I'm super interested in. I think a lot of people are excited about it because it's like she really wants love and she actually wants to settle down. So that aspect is exciting, but I really just don't think she's as interesting as Katie or any of our previous bachelorettes are. She's charming, she's beautiful, but I just don't think she's super extravagant. So I'm definitely going to be watching, obviously, and I'm excited to learn. I'm going to be very open to getting to know her and stuff. I'm sure I'll be like obsessed with her like midway through the season, but right now I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like we didn't get a lot of her. Like just with like how editing goes, like you don't really get to know a lot of the contestants that well. So I'm excited to like actually get to know who Michelle is besides her being a teacher. Cause I feel like that was her identity. That was it, you know?
Yeah, sure they'll figure a way out to get some good guys, and Caitlin and Tasha brought great energy. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a good season. It's just a lot of Bachelor back to back. So it's like now that we have this crammed in season, I'm like, are we gonna have any off time?
I know. I think it's like it's a commitment just to watch it. Like it's 2 hours every week. Like it's just a
And then
lot
it's
to keep
another
up with.
commitment to keep up with all your favorite Bachelor podcasters, TikTokers, and other alums who talk about it too, because it's really fun. It's almost more fun to watch the after shows than it is to watch the actual show.
Yes, exactly. There's just so much content out there. So with Paradise, the premiere was Monday and we saw a good bit of people come on the beach. And I think this is like the most like exciting season already, just because we're getting so many contestants that we weren't able to get last summer that we missed out on. So it's just so many people coming on, so many relationships already. Well, I don't know if we can call them relationships. A lot of like making out has already started. So I want to get your takes on Abigail. She was the first person to come on the beach, which I kind of expected. I feel like she's like America's sweetheart. I love her personally, and she got the first date card with Noah. So what are your thoughts on Abigail just being in Paradise? I feel like she's just going to be a hot commodity, but do you think she'll be with Noah like the whole summer, or what are your thoughts there?
Love Abigail. She's super sweet. She was almost the Bachelorette, which would have been such a good call instead of
Yeah.
Michelle. Oops, dare I say? But she came on the beach first, as was expected. I think it's usually like the it girl of the season comes first, gets the first date card. And I think a lot of these people were actually talking before the show just because there was so much time. And now with social media and quarantine, like I feel like everyone already knows each other. So she probably already had her eyes out on Noah before. And their date went pretty well. It doesn't seem like I can see them together in real life. So I don't think they're gonna last. I think they'll probably end up breaking up, but I don't really know who else I would see Abigail with on the beach. They should have just made her the Bachelorette.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it was definitely interesting, like with her saying that she's not emotionless, but like she's very closed off. She like doesn't really go very fast in relationships. She's taking it very slow. Noah seemed to be on the completely opposite page, saying like, okay, well, we're in paradise. So I don't know what you really expect from that statement. I'm interested to see how that relationship goes.
And we're supposed to believe they're gonna like fall in love. They're nothing alike. They're
Right.
literally nothing alike. So I feel like they just maybe are staying together because it's just what works best for them to stay on the show. Did you know that contestants get paid like $400 a day on
Yeah,
Paradise?
right. So everyone, that's why
So
people want to last. Like they want to be there the longest, as long as possible. Yeah.
I don't blame them at all, but I just
No.
think I don't see them together. I don't feel like it's a genuine relationship, or it will be, but I do think they have a friendship.
So we also saw a bunch of girls. We saw Kelsey, Champagne Gate. David Spade couldn't even get the bottle open himself, which
Was that planned?
I was just like, I don't know. It was weird for me. I don't know. I love Kelsey. I think she's like a little awkward, which will be fun to see like how that plays out on the beach. Do you see her like being with anyone so far, like any of the guys that we've seen already?
I like Kelsey. Like she came in with a lot of confidence that she didn't have last time. So I'm really feeling her. But I actually think she's going to be going home at the first rose ceremony because there's 4 girls going home and she was not in any of the trailers. She has not made a connection with anyone. And considering how many couples we have already seen make out and couple up in the teaser and on the first episode, I kind of feel like Kelsey might have a really short time on Paradise.
No, I think you're right. That's actually a great point because she's not in any she's not in any like
It's so
previews
telling.
for the season.
I'm telling you, it's so telling, these teasers. Like at my job at Shared News, we break down the teasers. So we watch 10 seconds, we pause, talk about it, and watch. And you really can just tell what's going to happen the entire season if you just watch the teaser slowly. They really make it so obvious.
Why do they do that? What is the point? They're just giving it away.
Well, I don't think that people watch the teasers as like I do and other people do. I think most people just watch and don't think too much about the teaser. But when you study it, you can learn everything that's going to happen. So that's why I knew Greg and that whole thing. Like, you don't even need to read the spoilers.
So interesting. So another, like, I think very popular girl of the summer, Serena. She was from Matt's season. It was funny how everyone came on and was like, I'm the girl that did this, or like, you probably know me
You
from
have
this.
to.
She's like, I'm the girl that actually sent the Bachelor home. I was like, oh my gosh, I
That was
totally
funny.
forgot. Loved it. I think she's such a sweetheart. She already seems to have a lot of eyes on her. Grocery store Joe, Ivan, like right off the bat, her and Joe had some conversations and they ended up kissing, which was like awkward. And I don't know how I feel about it. And there was like the conversation of the age difference. What are your thoughts on the Joe and Serena relationship right now?
I mean, the age difference is literally nothing. I'm
Right.
24, so I'm a year older than Serena. I've dated guys older than Joe, just like, why not? So I don't think the age difference matters at all. I do think that Joe and Serena like each other, though. I think they have a genuine connection, and I think it's real. I think that they actually like each other, and it was much more obvious than Abigail and Noah or some of the other couples. So I think that they're going to be in it for a while. Obviously, we know Kendall's going to show up, and I mean, that
Yes.
episode is going to be so good. I'm really anticipating it. It's probably going to be like halfway through the season. So, I mean, they're going to have a lot of challenges to face and we'll see what happens. But I don't know if it's going to work out just because she's a lot younger than him, too. Like, as far as like, if he really wants marriage. And she also is from a different country.
Right.
So I don't know if it will work out in the real world, but I think they genuinely are into each other.
Yeah, I think they're cute. They're like, I don't know, they're both a little like quirky. And I think they had like had some cute conversation. But the Kendall stuff I'm nervous about because, well, he just already does not seem mentally stable. Like he is stressed. He's in his own little corner on the day bed, just like not talking to anybody, like crying on day one. So when
But
Kendall
he's
shows up,
fair.
like it's
He's
shit's gonna
been
hit
through
the fan.
things.
Yeah.
It's gonna. I mean, you have to remember, like, this is gonna bring back all of the feelings for him where he fell in love with Kendall. So I would definitely give him like a day to kind of like, or a few days to kind of get used to it again. But I mean, of course it's gonna come up. He like left the show with Kendall. They were together for 2 years. So I'm excited for her to show up. I wonder if she is gonna date anyone or if she's literally just coming to blow up his spot.
Yeah, because the teaser is like, why are you here? Like
Why
literally
are you
reading.
here?
Yeah. Like,
Why are
okay.
you here? I mean, that line, we need that on a TikTok clip and then we need to impersonate it or like
Yeah.
that has to be a viral trend. So funny. We have so many moments I'm looking forward to this season. I'm sure we're gonna get into Mari and Demi. Like,
Yes.
cannot wait for the cake moment.
Okay, so that's where I'm going next. We saw Kenny come in like naked, out of air quotes, and he sort of hit it off with Mari, but there's definitely a love triangle that's going to happen with Demi and Mari and Kenny. So what are your thoughts initially just on like Mari and Kenny kind of hitting it off day one?
They seem like they would actually be into each other and like the age gap wouldn't even matter. Like they're
Right.
cool. Kenny's like a young, cool guy. I did not like him whatsoever on Claysha's season. So I was like, him coming back, I was like, but like after seeing him on the show, I'm like, no, he's funny. He's a cool guy. He obviously was not naked. They released a picture of him like in like some type of Speedo. So on their Instagram. So like we all obviously know, but I'm fine with the gimmick. But I like Mari too. I liked her a lot on that season. So I hope that they work out, but it's going to be challenging when you got Demi there, who's literally coming just to cause drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Mari. I think like she deserved more attention on Matt's season. Love her, but yeah, I think that they would work for sure. I'm just scared for what Demi's gonna do here because she just doesn't care. She's just gonna go for it. She's here to have a good time.
I like Demi. I think
I
she's
do
so
too.
fun. And I like that she's made her intentions clear, that she's literally just coming to cause chaos on the beach. And that's honestly all we want to see from her. We don't want to see her fall in love and get married. It didn't work the last time she was on Paradise. And I mean, I wouldn't believe it if she said that. So the fact that she's so obvious and like transparent with the viewers that she's literally here to steal all the men and cause chaos, like give us a good show, Demi, because Queen Victoria is is not trying to be that person this season.
She's definitely the entertainment. She's definitely like the comic relief. I love her commentary and interviews. Like she is just everything. So not mad. Also just love that she referred to David Spade as like Joe Dirt, like right off the bat was like, hey, Joe Dirt. And I was like, this is great.
I mean, Demi knows she's a star and
Yeah.
she knows that this is her territory. She's been here before. I like that there's OGs that are coming back. So it's not all new people because that really shakes things up.
Yes, I totally agree. Okay, so next, like, I don't know if we're calling these people couples yet, but Tajwan and Trey, I want to get your take
Favorite topic.
because she comes out and says that she dated Trey's uncle, and then like by the end of the night, they're making out. So thoughts?
I mean, I think she said she went on one date with the uncle, and then she also said that Trey kisses better than his uncle. I don't know what is producer planned because obviously the producers got a heads up about this. But like this is definitely real. So I am so fascinated by this. I love Tajwan. Literally couldn't care less about her before this episode. Now I am her number one fan. I'm obsessed with her. I'm already in her DMs. I want her and Trey to go the distance. I want to see the hometown date. I want to see the Thanksgiving dinner. I want to see the uncle show up on the beach. I want to see it all. I'm so invested in this, and I never thought I would be saying this about Tajwan and Trey coming into this season, but they are truly my favorite couple right now.
I could not agree more. I didn't even remember who she was when she came on the screen until they showed the playback of her passing out. And I was like, oh my God, like she's the girl that overheated shit. Like, okay. And now I'm like, okay, first of all, she's looking fantastic. She like has more, I think she's just like showing her personality more. I don't know. I feel like she's very likable, like relatable, and they're cute. And I feel like Trey's so chill. Like his vibe is just like laid back, nice, normal. And I feel like they work. So I'm also here for the Thanksgiving dinner. I think that they'll be so cute if they last. So hopefully that happens.
We need that Thanksgiving dinner. Trey did put up on his Instagram story, Uncle reveal coming soon. So we need to see what this guy looks like because if he is single, I am so interested in Uncle Trey Cooper. Like sign me up.
If he looks like Trey, like it's going to be great.
Like, where is this dating site that she met him on? Like, sign me up right now. I want to be a part of the Cooper family.
You will be at the Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to make it happen.
I'll be there. I'll vlog it too.
Okay, so Queen Victoria, or is it Goddess Victoria now?
Goddess Victoria. She's done her rebrand.
Yeah, she rebranded. She's a new woman. She's blonde, better than ever. I know that you actually got to hang out with her recently. So what are your thoughts on the new look? Definitely want to get your takes there, but also like any tea that she spilled when you were with her. What is going on?
Well, of course there was tea spilled, which I was shocked by that she spilled the tea with me because she knows what I do for work. She knows me from TikTok. We made plans to meet up. So honestly, it's the coolest thing about my job is that I'm actually able to like become friends with a lot of the contestants. So I'll never like cross that boundary, but she totally spilled some tea. So I will say that she wanted a rebrand. You know, she wanted to come in as the goddess. She did not want to be a bully. She did not want to be seen as a mean girl. That was never her intention. She knew on Matt James's season that she was going to be a character. She knew she was going to be a villain. She didn't see the show much before. So I think she was kind of shocked to see that everyone was so basic on the show. She didn't say that. That's just what I'm saying. I think she was a little bit like, what is this? Like, we're on a reality show and everyone's so boring. Like, I think she really came to create good TV. And I think she didn't like the response that she got. A lot of people were really mean to her. So I think she wanted to really reinvent herself and work on herself. And I'm loving this chakra mantra, Goddess Victoria. I think that people are going to really fall in love with her this season if they didn't already like her on that season.
I feel like she's already made like a little bit better of an impression and it's only been one episode. I think the crystals are helping. I don't know what it is, but she just seems, and she's like, first of all, she was always like entertaining, always funny, but they did like a little bit of the 5-second or the 5-minute look. And then she's like, so that did not actually work. And I was like, you know what? That shit's related. Like, that's funny, you know?
She's
think
very normal.
Yeah,
like,
I think you're right.
She has such a good sense of humor and she's so funny and chill. Like, she wasn't that crazy like on that season. Like in real life, she really is just like everyone else. Like, she's so funny.
Well, I'm excited for her to get the rebrand. I think that that's what I love so much about Paradise is like some of these contestants get the weirdest edits or you get the villain edit and you get to come on the beach and rebrand and show people that there's actually like a completely different side to you. And I just think that that's so refreshing and we get to know people better.
Like I mentioned about Katie, like we did not get to know her on that season. And then that's why we have these second seasons. So there's going to be a lot of people we're going to start to like that we didn't like before. And I also think there's going to be a lot of people that we used to love that we're actually going to start hating this season.
Ooh, are we going to love Carl? I'm curious.
We're not going to love Carl.
Okay.
No one loved Carl.
So Brendan, he is going to be a hot commodity. I think that like Brendan and Ivan are really going to get their time to shine. Like I loved them on Tayshia's season. I think everybody did. Like America just fell in love with the two of them. And I think they're going to just like be the stars of the
Well,
show.
I think that Ivan's going to be the star. Ivan's the speak eye, but I actually think Brendan is going to go down the Blake Hortzman, Dean Ungler, like pretty
Oh
boy,
no.
loved on your season, and then becomes the biggest F boy. So I think Brendan is not in for a good season. I think he's going to end up getting more of that villain energy, but that's just my prediction. I don't know anything behind the scenes.
Okay. So so there's a lot of rumors and there's been a lot of stuff out about Brendan and Piper. Like there's like this whole like New York City gang. Like it's pretty much everybody on the beach, like lives in New York City. They're all best friends. And there's been a lot of people like spotted together, like coupling up, and Brendan and Piper is one of the couples that were spotted. So there's talks about them kind of being in a relationship before going to Paradise and then like playing it out on Paradise potentially and then like leaving together. Like I don't know if you know or saw any of that, but I'm curious. Piper obviously wasn't here on night one, but I think she definitely comes later. Do you think that's true? Are they going to be together?
Yeah, that is exactly why we have producers on this show, because if they brought in Piper on night one, it would be too obvious. I think they were totally talking and dating before the show. I don't think they were in a serious relationship. So I think that's why it's fair that they can go to Paradise, figure it out. I know Brendan was living in Boston and she was in New York. So they really weren't together all the time. So they needed to go to Paradise regardless. But I think that's why they're going to have Piper come in later to shake things up, because Brendan's going to have to go on a date, get a rose, get a kiss, because he can't not be with someone until Piper shows up. He has to entertain someone. So that's why the producers did a really good job bringing in her late, especially her instead of him, because she's more likely to cause a scene. So I think it's going to be a huge blow up when she comes in, because I think that they were totally talking before the show, and I think they'll probably still talk after the show.
Okay. So yeah, maybe you're right with the whole Blake thing, because he could, if he wants to be with Piper, he's going to have to figure out how to stay on the beach, and that's to be with a girl and give a girl a rose. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I love the producer stuff. See, I want to be a producer on the show. Like a lot of people are like, you should do the host, you should be bartender, like in a, fantasy land. But I'm like, no, I want to be a producer if I ever actually get hired on the show.
Well, and part of like loving reality TV is, that like not everything is what it seems. And when I watch, think a lot about the producer stuff. Like I think a lot about the behind the scenes part of like how the situation played out, or like what the producers did for this moment. And I would also love that role. I think you'd be fantastic on that. Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's why this show has continued to go on in its second or third decade, is because people are no longer fascinated with the show. They're fascinated with the producers and what's happening behind the scenes and what they're editing the show to be. Like everyone knows it's not 100% real, and that doesn't take away from the fact that we still love the show.
Yeah, I think it's definitely shifted in how people view the show for sure, because especially with like social media, that's really changed the game. Like I started watching The Bachelor back when I was in high school, and like I had just gotten a phone, like it was like, I don't know, my freshman year, and I started watching in like 8th grade. So social media really was not around like it is now with contestants, and you can't follow people can't build a brand. Like it was so different then, and we watched it, at least I did, so naive. Like I was like, oh, these are just like hunky-dory people, like whatever. And now I'm like, oh, she's a model, she did this, like she has, she's an influencer, and the game has really changed. And I think everyone's a little bit more aware of like what we're watching.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's just about like the followers and stuff. I think just the way social media is everyone's connecting so much quicker and so much easier. So I think that's why there's so many more pre-existing relationships. Not even about like who's more famous or who's what. It's just the pre-existing relationships add a whole new element. And the show was never like that in the past.
Yeah. The whole stagecoach of it all.
The whole stagecoach.
So I want to get your thoughts on one more person that is potentially, or I guess it's confirmed that's coming to Paradise, who is Becca Kufrin. She was a former Bachelorette, and this has never happened before where a lead comes on Paradise after they were a lead. Like we've had, like Nick Viall was on Paradise, I think, and he was a lead after the fact. But this is very different, and I have very mixed feelings on this, just because I like Becca as a person. I liked her as the Bachelorette. I thought she was fine. I wasn't like obsessed with the season at all. I felt like she deserved a season just based off the Ari situation. So I was just excited that she got that opportunity, and like all the girls were behind her on that. But this is a little weird to me. She's coming on Paradise. Obviously she's single and the whole Garrett breakup, but what are your thoughts on like a Bachelorette, like a lead coming on?
I mean, I think it adds more hype to the show. I think it'll be really fascinating to see her. It's going to make good TV. It's going to make a splash. So I'm glad that she's there in that regards. I liked her a lot when she was the Bachelorette. I used to love her, whatever it was like. What was her catchphrase?
Oh yeah. Shoot.
Something about an independent woman. Do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing. Yeah.
I remember saying that like all the time. Like I loved Becca. I ended up unfollowing her probably like a year after because I just didn't feel connected to her anymore. And now I feel like she's only coming back because she's on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, which is a podcast produced by Bachelor Nation. Like I feel like that's the only reason that they brought her back, and maybe even Grocery Store Joe, is because they want to get these podcasts going.
Yeah.
So this podcast network is just it's competitive. There's a lot of Bachelor podcasts, and I think the Bachelor wants to stay on top. So I think they really just told her you have to go on. It's part of your contract because she works for ABC. So I don't buy that she's there for the right reasons whatsoever, but I do think she will make great TV, and I think it'll be interesting to see her fall in love with Thomas.
Yeah. What an interesting take though, because obviously I knew she had the Happy Hour podcast and she's been doing that. She was doing that with Rachel Lindsay for a while. And it's a pretty good podcast. They have like a lot of really good content going out, and they're obviously like the first to most stories and most contestants. But I didn't think of that being part of why she's going on. So that actually brings a really good perspective, because I think that there's a lot of negative thoughts of like, oh, this feels like the graduated high school kid that comes back to like a house party, like that kind of vibe of like, what are you doing?
But it kind of is. It is that vibe.
Yeah. So I think that brings a little bit of a different perspective to me, at least. Like now I'm gonna kind of like watch with more open mind. But yeah, so there is like rumors and kind of spoilers that they kind of end up together, and there was a lot of like controversy based off of Thomas's background on Men Tell All.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's Becca's plan and living room. Interesting.
And blanket. And people were sending me, and I'm like, I'm not finding any evidence that this is actually her plan. So I don't know, people. So I have no idea. But I will say that she is definitely going to be in it with Thomas this season. And it's just kind of awkward and a weird pick. But if they're really happy and they work out, that's great. I'm pissed off that Thomas didn't go to the Men Tell All, and I feel like there's more to the story that we're never going to get the answers to.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm more curious about. Why wasn't he there? There's no excuse for him not to show up unless it was something related to Bachelor in Paradise and restrictions, or like COVID. Those are the only two reasons he couldn't be there, or a family emergency.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were missing from Men Tell All, but Thomas was obviously like the only real drama of the season. So why wouldn't he be there? I was like thinking the exact
there has to be a personal reason.
Yeah, very interesting. So what are you like looking forward to most just about Paradise? And like, are you shipping a couple that hasn't gone on the beach yet? Any thoughts there?
I'm really looking forward to Demi versus Mari. I think that the cake fight is going to go down in like best Bachelor in Paradise moments of all time. I don't have a couple that I'm like super obsessed with. I thought it was going to be Abigail and Noah until I watched the episode, and then I just didn't see the connection. So I don't know who I'm like really shipping, because I want to fall in love with one of these couples and, you know, see them be the next Hannah and Dylan or Jade and Tanner. But right now I just don't see a particular couple going for the distance. I have my favorite characters like Ivan and Victoria, but I don't have a specific couple that I'm really rooting for at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, I definitely want another like Hannah G. Dylan situation. But I can't picture who that would be. Originally, I thought the same thing with Abigail and Noah, just like initially getting the date card. But yeah, it seems like an interesting dynamic between the two of them. So I'm just interested to see. I also just am very excited about the Piper Brendan situation. So I am pumped up for that moment.
And Joe and Kendall will be good too. There's going to be a lot of good moments, and I'm so excited for this season.
So much to look forward to. I'm so excited. Okay, so shifting gears before we wrap up, I want to do a little rapid fire question round with you, Housewives edition. I know you're a big Bravo Housewives fan, so we'll just go through a couple of these. I am excited to see what you're gonna say. Okay, so favorite franchise right now?
Jersey.
Jersey. Ooh, solid pick. Was Roni a flop this season, and how can they change that?
100% a flop. I have it on. I can't even pay attention. Such a flop. The only way to make it better is to bring back Bethany, Dorinda, Tinsley. Like they have to bring back a couple housewives.
Okay, which housewife closet would you raid right now?
Dorit Kemsley.
Did Erica Girardi know everything about what Tom was up to?
She definitely did not know everything. That's not where she doesn't work at the law firm, but she did have an inkling that something was happening.
And then thoughts on the Jen Shaw scandal. Can a Coach Shaw pep talk get her out of this shit show?
Jen Shaw is going to jail. And it sucks because I loved her personality. I think she's so fun, but it's just not going to look good for her.
Not going to look good for her. And then final question. What would your tagline be if you were a Real Housewife?
Oh my God, that's good. That is something I have to think of off the spot. This is so hard.
It is hard.
Okay. Usually you see me talking about other people, but in reality, everyone is just talking about me.
Ooh, good
Boom.
one.
Boom.
Love it. I love it. I need you on reality TV. I think that's where we need you on the red carpet, but we need you on reality TV.
Yeah. And I have been applying and I have been in casting actually. Nothing like I didn't get on any show, but I got like a few auditions and calls. So it is a possibility. And I think it'll be so funny if I get on reality TV and then I start doing my recaps talking about myself and then like going into the other people. Cause that's literally what would happen. That's just the truth. So I would love to be on reality TV. That's definitely one of my goals in life, just as a huge fan. But if I go on the show, I'm going to own that I am a huge fan of reality TV. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not.
Yeah. You would be the green screen. It would be you talking about you. I'd love that.
Yeah. Well, I applied for The Circle. I applied for Big Brother. I'm thinking of applying to Survivor, but I don't want to be hungry. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I definitely have to do something while I'm in my 20s.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, you would be amazing. I would definitely watch. Big Brother would be a good one. I'm watching that this season. Are you watching?
I tried, but I'm not really a big fan of Big Brother. I don't know. Too many nights a week.
Oh my God, it's the biggest commitment of my life. I have so much going on.
You can't work full time talking about The Bachelor and Big Brother. Like you have to pick a lane. And like it's just you can't pick one. It's on too many nights a week. And that's why I tried to follow Love Island this season and I did a pretty good job, but I can't watch every episode. It's too much.
That's too much. You have to really, you got to narrow it down. Well, we're very grateful that you picked Bachelor because you are really dishing out all of the rumors, all the spoilers, and all of the info. And I appreciate it. I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for coming on today. This was so fun talking with someone that's like just as passionate about this stuff as me. What to come for you and where can people find you, follow you, all of that?
Yeah, you guys can follow me at Zachary Reality literally everywhere. I'm on TikTok every single day. I am getting my YouTube channel and my podcast, which I'm trying to get a studio. So definitely stay tuned for that in-person guests. And I mean, I would just look forward to seeing me on the red carpet because that is my mission for the end of the year. And everything is reality TV. I love talking about pop culture and celebrities, but as I've kind of transformed and focused on my own brand, it's just really Zachary Reality for a reason. We talk about Zachary and we talk about reality TV.
Amazing. Be sure to follow him on all social platforms. You will not regret it. Very great content. So thank you so much for joining me. It was so fun chatting.
Thank you so much for having me. So nice to meet you virtually. Next time we have to do it in person.
Next time I'm coming to LA. It's done.
Please.